Welcome to Art Workshop 1, which has been made for big and little people.
Hi everyone, it's Esther here, Miss Esther to some of you. If you're one of the kids I teach, I'm really missing you, missing our art workshop sessions together and looking forward to seeing you very soon. This video is about using collage techniques and you'll need some scissors, but if you don't have any it's fine, you can just rip up the paper with your hands. You'll need lots of different kinds of paper. You'll need some glue. If you don't have any glue at home, I've made a guide separately, a little guide to making flower glue at home.
You'll also need some inks.
So inks are very running paints. You could get this effect by using watercolour blocks and adding lots of water to them to make a nice runny ink. If you don't have any watercolour blocks at home, there's also a small guide to making some inks from using spices and various things from around the home. Hopefully you've got everything you need. I think that's all that you need. So let's get started and do some work online together.
So this exploration of collage should take you about an hour. The video is shorter than that. Feel free to pause it at any point. Gather together your materials and start getting them ready. Experiment with folding, cutting, quilling. Quilling is running your scissors along the paper to make it curly, along strips of paper. It's up to you how you want to cut and arrange your pieces. Our glue is very lumpy. Hopefully yours turned out better if you did the flower glue experiment. When you're ready, coat your base sheet of paper with glue and start sticking things down. The picture coming up is of a collage made just using one type of material, plain paper, but you can see that the paper's been changed in lots of different ways. And this fabric collage was made up of a repeating pattern of squares.
Gone off glue there, huh?
Very good question from my son. To stick down the fabric and the heavy cardboard, you will need much more glue than for just the paper or the thinner cardboard. So a useful question. When you place things down, you'll be thinking creatively already. Some of you might be putting your shapes along the edge of the paper first or going from the middle. Take your time, experiment and explore. Feel free to pause the video here. The next bit is about painting your collage. I'm hoping that you found the homemade inks video useful. When you come to think about painting your collage, consider whether you're going to go around or on top of shapes and what type of paint you're going to use. If you've stuck down lots of different types of materials in your collage, then you might have to use a thicker paint to go over the plastic. Household paints are really good for this, little testers for painting walls, very useful. You might start thinking about what your piece of work reminds you of, what it makes you think of, if anything. This little bit is from a piece of wrapping paper. And almost by putting the wash on top, it knocks it back so it becomes part of the whole image a bit more. If you have a range of brushes of different sizes, that's great. I'm just going to put that on as like an ink and see what happens where it meets different edges. This was a thick egg box. So you could mix, I've got a palette here on the watercolour, so I could mix colours here, but sometimes it's quite interesting just to mix colours. I think we do it a lot at school, we mix colours on top of our artwork. When you've completed your base layer of colour, it's time to add some small marks on top. I like to add some marks onto this area. I'm just questioning what will show up. I feel like if I use that dark blue again, that is going to show up. Coming up is a different type of collage being painted, one made up of only plain paper. So to paint this collage sheet, which is just one material that I crumpled, ripped, folded and stuck down with the flour glue, I decided to use the homemade inks, but of course you can thin down some watercolours or thick paint. And I just wanted to try and keep it kind of one tone with some warm colours. What I like about using ink is that it will go onto all the edges. So remembering that this is still an exploration, allowing yourself to enjoy it, to experiment and to respond to the technique we're using. Quite interested in these creases, so I might just see if I can make the effects of them stronger, almost paint into the folds. When you're adding your marks on top of your base layer of paint, you'll need some stronger paint colours, either thin down acrylic, or you could use a felt tip pen as well. So again, this is exploring, creating, responding, working on top of what we've already done. I find it very satisfying to work in layers. So some of you might be feeling like you've finished. Just as we were in school, I would ask you to have another look. See if there's anything you really enjoyed doing that you want to echo or repeat again. See if you feel you've done all that you wanted to do. As we're not together, it's hard for us to do our normal stopping and reflecting on what we've made and talking about each other's work. Maybe find somebody in your house you can chat to about what you've been exploring, how you've done it, what you find interesting. I'm sure your finished artworks are looking fantastic and really interesting. I hope you've enjoyed using these two techniques of sticking and painting, and I also really hope that you did pause the video and didn't attempt to do it in 10 minutes. Coming up is an extension activity for anyone who's interested in another approach to using collage. I look forward to sharing some drawing techniques with you in workshop 2. Until then, keep making, keep enjoying, keep creating. So this is the collage extension activity. This approach was suggested by my daughter who's doing GCSE art. You'll need magazines and newspaper. Make a collage using bits of magazines, newspaper that you find interesting. Then select and draw the photographs and texts that really stand out to you. You can paint them, use felt tips or pencils. It's really interesting what you can find when you start looking closely. My daughter just used one sheet of paper to jot her sketches down on. If you work in this way, it keeps the images quite fragmented and quite separate, and also your response to them is a loose response rather than worrying about having a specific outcome. You're really just looking at them for inspiration. When you come to paint your collage, your newspaper or magazine collage, maybe think about using a narrow range of colours, and again working back over it using mark making and patterning if that's of interest to you. In Kurt Schwitter's Mertz pictures, he paints over parts of his collages and also leaves areas of the newspaper or magazine or ticket exposed, which is quite an interesting technique. Thanks for watching. Workshop 2 will be coming very soon.